Good afternoon, everyone. I am the Director of Admissions here at Salpointe Catholic. I will be introducing our speaker for today with the Lunch with Lancers. Today's Lunch with Lancers is going to be all about financial aid. If you do have any questions for Teresa Lehrling, she is our financial aid manager, and she will be presenting today on our financial aid process and the various ways that you can finance your students' education here at Salpointe. If you do have any questions, please use the chat function in Google Meet. If you are calling in, simply send me an email or Teresa an email. You'll get all of her contact information today, and then that way she can reach out to you more directly. Usually when it comes to financial aid, the questions that we're going to be able to answer today are more general questions or kind of procedures. If you do have specific questions about your family, the particular things that you are going through, numbers and those kind of things, those are better left to an individual meeting with Teresa. And again, if you do have more specific questions about your family situation or anything like that, please reach out to Teresa directly, and then she can answer your questions in a more private setting. So again, any questions for today, please use the chat function, and we'll get to those at the end of the presentation. And again, just general questions, please. Specific questions can either come right to me or Teresa Lehrling, and we can better answer those. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Teresa, and she will take you through our financial aid presentation. Teresa?
Thank you, Mike, and welcome to everyone to our Lunch with Lancers Financial Aid Edition. We are so happy to have you join us. Feel free to grab a snack, drink, anything that's going to make you comfortable as we navigate through this financial aid process over our lunch today. So let's see here. So like Mike said, my name is Teresa Lehrling. I'm the financial aid manager here at Salpointe Catholic High School. I have been here. This is my second year with Salpointe. Really excited to be here still. Absolutely love my job, and very excited to help you all through this process of financial aid. It can be a tedious process. It can be nerve-wracking. I went through it myself. My son graduated here in 2017. I just want to give you guys peace of mind that Salpointe is always here to help. If you have questions, never hesitate to reach out. As you can see on the screen, our office hours are Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 3:30. Feel free to email, call me anytime you have questions, concerns. Email does always work best. Our offices are closed on Fridays throughout the summer break. And today we're just going to be going over tuition fees, financial aid information, and like Mike mentioned earlier, if there's anything specific, feel free to email or call me. So for this current year, the tuition and fees you'll find up on the screen is $10,550 for incoming freshmen and any transfer students for the 2021 school year. If you're a returning student to Salpointe, it's $10,150. Our billing statements are emailed monthly beginning in June. We do utilize a smart tuition program that collects the tuition on behalf of Salpointe. Balances are due on the first of each month, considered late after the 10th. Smart does charge a $40 late fee for any balances over $250. Now, Salpointe does offer two payment options available for our families. If you choose to pay annually, it is due by July 10th. And if you do pay annually, there is a $100 discount for any annual payments received before July 10th. Otherwise, you're looking at our monthly payment options, which is 10 months beginning in July and going through April. Now, the first payment is due in July because Salpointe does bill 1 month in advance. So your final bill in April would be for the month of May, which is our last month of school. On the screen here, you will see some information as far as making payments via Smart Tuition. You can log into your Smart Tuition account once that's created, and you can also mail Smart Tuition payments. The registration fees for this school year for freshmen, sophomores, and juniors was $300 and $525 for our current seniors. So most of you are probably asking yourself, oh my, how will I pay for this? And, a lot of things go through your mind. For myself, I never thought it was a possibility. As a single mom, heard great things about Salpointe, about academics, athletics, all the different clubs, just the programs, and didn't think it was a possibility. I'm here to tell you it definitely is. It's a lot of teamwork. It's a lot of dedication, working together and setting goals for yourself and speaking with me and going through the process. The goal of sending your student to Salpointe can be accomplished. I didn't think it was possible. I now know that it is. So that's why I am so passionate about just helping families, because once you know all of the tools and all of the resources that are out there, then you are very, very confident in the fact that it is possible. There are 3 steps to reducing your tuition expense here at Salpointe. The first one is through our Salpointe financial aid fair application. We also work with the Referral Fund program through the Arizona State Tax Credit program. And we also ask our families to pursue outside sources of financial aid through school tuition organizations directly. School tuition organizations are also known as STOs. We do ask our families, please do not self-exclude. Ask questions. Many of our families qualify for different types of assistance. I definitely recommend you reaching out to me to see what options you have if you are unsure. So every family situation is different, and every STO has different eligibility criteria. So please do not self-exclude, and reach out to me if you're unsure what you qualify for or if you qualify. Okay, so the first option, as I mentioned, is through Salpointe Financial Aid. It is through our FAIR application. You can apply to FAIR online at www.fairapp.com. FAIR does require a school code for Salpointe and a school password. You'll find that on the slide here. You do have to click yes on the request financial aid when you are filling out the online application. And just as a reminder, we currently are in a current school year and still have a second round of financial aid that is going on. So it's highly important for our 21-22 applicants to select the appropriate school year. Otherwise, your application could get lost in the process. So just be sure to select 21-22 when applying. Our FAIR application does open on November 1st, so that's right around the corner here. I highly encourage you to apply sooner than later. It's an easy process. It closes January 15th for any students interested in attending 21-22 school year. We do have a late deadline, of April 16th. That being said, I highly encourage you to start the process November 1st and get everything finalized immediately. Salpointe award letters will be emailed at the end of February and early June for any late appliers. You must reapply every school year. So even once you complete 21-22 and you are awarded, you will then have to reapply each school year for consideration for an award. Some of our frequently asked questions regarding FAIR. Okay, FAIR is a third-party evaluator. They simply review the data and they make a recommendation to Salpointe for an award. Okay, the actual awards come from various school tuition organizations. Most of the awards do come from CTSO. There is a cost of $24 for the FAIR application. For anyone interested in receiving a waiver for the cost, please contact me directly via email. Once you complete the application process, you will receive an email stating that your application is complete. This will let you know that you've finished everything. If you have not received an email that your application is complete, please be sure to follow up with me and or FAIR. There are documents such as tax documents, any additional documents that FAIR might be requesting. If it's not all turned in, your application is not complete. So a lot of families think, okay, I've finished it, it's submitted, and they're just waiting and waiting for a response, but they haven't checked their email for any follow-ups from FAIR on any documents that they might still need to submit. So please be sure that you've received the final email regarding your completed application. Updates will be shown on Salpointe student checklist. And if you don't have a tax return, that's okay. I have a lot of families who don't finish their taxes, right away, and they think that they won't qualify and they don't apply. But we do have an income verification form that can substitute for the tax return until you complete yours. Let's see. So if you're asking yourself, how is financial aid awarded? Well, like I said, you must reapply every year. So every year there's a new applicant pool. We look at overall family financial picture. Everything is considered. This year, due to COVID, I highly recommend any families out there that have lost a job or furloughed or have any special circumstance. When you are applying in FAIR, there is a note section. So please put as much information in there as possible so that when we go over your application, we see your overall family financial picture. So even though your 2019 taxes might state a certain income, we all know that since January, a lot has changed for many families. So just be sure to fill out the note section in the FAIR application. We do have a committee that meets to discuss the awards and determine proper award types. There is complete confidentiality. We have a variety of different pots of available funds, depending on qualifications of all of our families. Some of these awards are corporate awards. They have restrictions set by the Arizona Department of Revenue. And we also have many corporate tax credit sponsors that help, such as Geico, Compass Bank, Bank of Tucson, TEP. We also have academic merit awards each year. There are about up to 50 available per year. It is based on the placement test score, and it is only available for freshman year. And the amount of that academic merit award is $1,000. This year, we helped over 742 families, and over 3.4 million in tuition assistance was given to students. One of our awards, as I mentioned, is corporate. There are income limitations and qualifiers for the financial need-based corporate award. I've put up on the slide here the household size and annual family gross income. And there also has to be one of the following that is met to be corporate qualified. So if your student's coming from a public school and attended the public school for at least 90 days of the prior school year, and you fall under the income guidelines, then they would qualify for our corporate award. The student is a dependent of a member of the armed forces here in the U.S. and is stationed in Arizona. Pursuant to military orders, the student will also qualify. Or if your student received a previous scholarship in a prior year and is continuing to attend a private school, some of our feeder schools, St. Peter and Paul, schools like that, if they are transferring and they received a previous award, then yes, they would also qualify under that criteria. Under financial need base, we also have individual and plus awards. Our individual is also financial need, but it's very flexible due to other circumstances. So again, I'm just going to touch on in the note section in FAIR, please let us know all of your situations so that we have a good understanding of your need. Our plus awards, also known as the switcher program, and that is meaning that a student's coming from a public or charter school. That is also another option of financial need-based awards. And please note, once your student's plus qualified, they are always plus qualified. So we highly encourage our families to turn in the appropriate paperwork of a student transferring from an Arizona public school the very first year, freshman year, so that your student is plus qualified through senior year. Now, the only thing that can change that is if your student withdraws. It could change eligibility if and when they choose to return. So I just want you to note that as well. The non-financial need-based, also known as our Arizona State Tax Credit Program. It's a referral program with no income restrictions. I am a huge advocate for this program. My son, like I said, he came to Salpointe, solicited family and friends for tax credit donations, and it is truly possible to fund your students' tuition here at Salpointe simply through the tax credit program. So please do not be discouraged if you do not qualify for financial need-based. Working together and soliciting family and friends for tax credit donations is another way to fund your students' tuition here at Salpointe. Friends and family can recommend their tax dollars for your student. It's a dollar for dollar match. The deadline to get the 2021 tax credit will be April 15th of 2022. Now, that being said, if you have a student that's in 8th grade right now and you're looking to start next August, you can apply to an STO now and begin getting tax credit donations now. When you fill out those applications, you must put that you are only soliciting, and then once your student is enrolled here, that will be changed. On our school website, we have a list of STOs, and you can find out more about each one. You must have an application on file in order for your student to receive funds and also reapply every year. Now, each STO has different administrative fees, so I recommend that you visit their website, and if you have any questions, you can contact them. When you're soliciting family and friends for tax credit donations, some of them may say, oh, I'm already giving to a public school or another school. Please know and let your donors know you can participate in both the public and private school tax credit program, so they can give to both. And if they have any questions, they can give me a call or speak to an STO as well. July is when Salpointe will begin the new year distribution. So if you start soliciting now and you're starting next August, July 1st is when we will receive our first list of referral funds. Up on the slide here, you'll see Arizona State Tax Credit Funds. As I mentioned, individual and plus funds. You cannot contribute to your own student. You'll see the numbers there for the 2020 tax year. Numbers will be updated soon for the 2021 tax year. Some years they change, some years they don't. Any unused funds can roll over from year to year. And I also want to mention that unused funds can be used for siblings as well. So you do have to give a written request to STOs, but if you have a senior that is graduating and you have funds with a STO, with a written request, those funds can roll over to an incoming freshman. And that only works for siblings. You cannot do it for cousins or extended family or any of those circumstances, simply for siblings. With CTSO, they use an RP number, so that would be good for your whole family. We do have a sample letter that IB's created to act as a template for those of you wanting to approach family and friends. You can contact me via email, and I can provide one of those for you. So I know some of you, it's hard to ask. It's a new process to everyone. For me, when we first started on this journey, I wasn't really sure how to go about it. Some of the phrases, one of the phrases is, would you be willing to consider? Let your donors know it's the one time that they can tell the state where you want your tax money to be spent, and it stays right here and in our hometown, Tucson. Don't be afraid to ask. They have a school choice, so Salpointe would be a school choice, and you can provide your accountant with completed forms for their clients, who don't have a student to recommend. There's actually a lot of people out there that want to give, and they don't have a student to give to. So if you provide your account with a completed form, they can also solicit clients as well. Share our personal story behind why Salpointe education is important. getting your students involved, writing emails, letters, including photos. And if you haven't already done so, begin asking for 2020 tax credit donations. You can send reminders out in December. Deadline is in April. With tax credit donations, we do offer webinars, IBE, CTSO, Arizona Tuition Connection. You can visit the financial aid page on our school website for webinar dates and updated information. You'll find these dates under the What If I Missed Open House tab on our school website. And if you have any questions or unsure of a webinar, just email and or call me and I can give you upcoming dates. And these are also great webinars for your donors. So if you have donors that have not given and have questions about the tax credit program, you can give them the information to the webinar and they can attend as well. Salpointe also asks our family to pursue other sources of financial aid through outside sources. So there's a variety of outside agencies with financial needs scholarships. Most of these applications open in January and they go throughout the spring. The correspondence is directly between you and each of these STOs. Like I mentioned earlier, the STOs will have their own applications and deadlines. So I recommend that you set reminders. The majority of available funds are corporate funds. And, I'll just mention Salpointe does hold our families accountable. And I ask that you hold me accountable. Together, we, obtain as much financial assistance as possible for your student. You do your part. I promise to do my part. And together we get, the financial assistance that your student is in need of. Salpointe also offers the Empowerment Scholarship Account Program through the state of Arizona. This is also known as the ESA program. You'll see on the slide there a variety of requirements. You do not need to meet all of those requirements, just one of them. So, for example, if your student is currently in a D or F school, you can find a complete list at azesa.org. Or if you meet one of the other requirements, you can apply for the ESA program. We currently have 100 plus students utilizing state funds. The typical award is approximately $6,800. I do have to mention, for anyone that opts to utilize this ESA program, you cannot receive any additional funds. So any of the funds that I previously mentioned, any tax credits, any financial need-based, it cannot be combined with the ESA program. So that being said, Salpointe does have additional funding through our endowed funds. This does not conflict with the rules of the scholarship. It's not guaranteed, but there is possibility for additional funds for ESA recipients. In order to be considered for these additional endowed funds, you must apply in FAIR, and financial need must be shown. Just wanted to give you some strategies for success. Make an appointment for a consultation if you have a special circumstance or need some guidance. I'm always available to help, more than happy to help. Creating a folder or notebook, making notes, give yourself reminders. Use your first application as a template. So for those of you, I always recommend starting in FAIR. FAIR does offer you the option to print out your application. And once you complete and print that out, you can use that as a template for all of the other applications after that one. Now, if you are opting for ESA, then you would not have to complete all of the applications. But for any of those going with tax credits and combining those with financial need based, then yes. Double check all information has been completed before submitting and meet deadlines. That's highly important. You must reapply every year. Follow up if you haven't had a response, whether you're following up with an STO or whether you're following up with me and or both. I just recommend that you make those reminders for yourself and make notes and reach out to us if you haven't heard anything. Some review of our financial assistance here at Salpointe. Last school year, we had 50% of our students that covered 50% of their tuition through all of these sources. Referral totals for the 1920 school year were 1.8 million. And this year students have received already over 850,000 as of September. So the funding is out there. We together just need to find that funding for you and make sure we're applying and you're doing what you need to do. And I help you in that process so that we get as much funds for your student as possible. So the goal for 21-22 is to award between 1,000 and 3,500 of the financial need-based assistance. This does not include the referral funds. This is just financial need-based. So if you're following here through the financial aid process, if you get financial need-based awards and you stack those along with the referral funds, you can easily cover the majority, if not all, of your tuition expenses. Salpointe is also dedicated in continuing to foster relationships with outside STOs. We want Salpointe students to be at the top of their awards list. So Lancer Life is affordable. Again, we just need to make sure that you're filling out application, meeting deadlines. Communication is key. So how can you help? You can also contribute to CTSO through the individual tax credits. If you have a S or C corporation that is interested, please have them contact Jen Harris. Always recommend Salpointe as the school who receives funds. There's many different ways that you can help. On this slide, you will see a couple of testimonials from parents of students of the class of 2019. And as you know, Salpointe is an investment in your students' future. Some of the highlights of last graduating class, 264 Salpointe seniors went on to 173 colleges and universities. These students received over 20 million in merit scholarships. 99% of our Salpointe students go on to college. 28 students graduated with a GPA of 4.0 or higher. 10 graduates entered college as National Hispanic Scholars. Salpointe is an investment in your child's life that can pay off tremendously. I truly believe Lancer Life is transformative. And that is my financial aid presentation, Mike.
All right, thank you very much. Just leave that slide up there. Speaking as a parent, I'm a parent as well, looking for my kids to start actually Catholic, or they've already started Catholic schools, but really going through this process as a parent. I'm one of those parents who say, I don't know if I can afford this. My wife and I both work full time, kind of everything that's going through your head. And that's where I just keep coming back to referral funds and those tax credits that you can get friends and family members in the state of Arizona to refer to your student. And it is a dollar for dollar tax credit. And so for anybody who doesn't realize what that benefit is, you can contact myself, Mike Fisher, Director of Admissions. You can contact Teresa, our financial aid manager, and we'll be able to help you. Plus, we'll be able to, refer you out to the organizations that will even better help you with it. Because once you start that referral program and you do that first one, and you're just going to gain confidence, your kid's going to gain confidence, and you will really be able to make that kind of the driving force behind everything else. And if you're a family that says, well, we're already going to qualify for financial aid, keep doing the referral funds, keep doing the tax credit, because that is the cherry on top. That will really help do everything else for you. And just to kind of, I don't see any questions popping up, so I'm just going to kind of leave you with a story. And again, if you do have questions, please type them into the chat or reach out to myself or Teresa Laring directly so we can better answer your questions. But one of my favorite stories, 6 years ago when I came to Salpointe, 7 years ago now, I was meeting with a parent. She was a single mom. Daughter desperately wanted to come to Salpointe. She didn't know how she could make it work. She was a receptionist in an office. And we started talking to her about the FAIR application and how that would all be distributed. And then we touched on the referral tax credit program, and she did it like a job. She talked to the other people in her office. She talked to her friends and her family members. She was able to get every dime of Salpointe tuition covered for all 4 years of her daughter. And she actually stopped asking people for tax credits at the end of her daughter's sophomore year because she had so much money built up that could roll over from tax year to tax year that she didn't need Salpointe's financial aid. She didn't need help from anyone. She was able to do it all herself, and she was able to make it work for her daughter. And that is one of my favorite stories because she was so happy with her daughter's experience. I remember seeing them on graduation day, and it's just a great story to tell about how a Salpointe education, a Salpointe Catholic community experience is possible for any student from any background, no matter what. This is a definite possibility for everyone, regardless of finances. I do have a question. My child is currently going to St. Cyril's and receive CTSO funds. Is it simply a matter of changing the designated school? So the question is you're already getting referral funds through CTSO, and so what you're gonna do is as we approach the next school year, you're simply gonna let CTSO know where do you want those referral funds to go, where do you want those tax credits to go. Some people base that on how much financial aid they're getting from each school, because I'm sure you're going to do the fair application between St. Cyril's and Salpointe, and so you might say, well, we have 12,000 built up in the CTSO account, 2,000 of which can go to Cyril's, the other 10,000 goes to Salpointe. We're covered tuition in both places, and we're done, or vice versa. So that's just something you can talk to CTSO about and how they divide up those funds. Teresa, and feel free to pop in at any point here too.
You got it.
Okay, all right. And I don't see any other questions. Thank you all so much for coming here today and joining this presentation. Again, this is being recorded, and we will post it to our website hopefully later on today or tomorrow. And then also next week's Lunch with Lancers is going to be about athletics. So please feel free to join us next week at noon. You'll use the same link that you used today. And Phil Grunsfelder, our athletics director, will take you through the various sports and activities that our student athletes are doing. And we hope you all have a great day. Thank you very much for attending.